This is Katie Cunningham, and you're listening to Monday Morning Critic.
Thank you. So I know you have kids. I have a 2-year-old. My wife is 8 months pregnant. I'm thinking. So I'm thinking of like I'm looking at your Instagram, and I was thinking today because my daughter has, and people are listening here, will be like, he's so corny. But she has this like little thing on her heel that requires Neosporin. She like when she's sick, like we have like obviously we have Tylenol, kids Tylenol, infant Tylenol. And throughout the years, you wonder how parents made it work, right? Sometimes kids went to bed with no food. Like, I don't know, as a parent, you think about stuff, Katie, that most times you would never think about had you never had children,
Yeah,
right? So it's like, I don't know, what a weird way to start an interview, but like, I don't know, I know you're really proud of your kids. You love your kids. I don't know. Isn't that like, how, as a parent, like stuff like that goes through your head, Katie? It's weird.
absolutely. Absolutely. My daughter right now has uh, like this rash, and it's on her hands. And the doctor doesn't know what it is. And she's just like, well, just give her an antihistamine and let's hope it goes away. And as a parent, I'm like, what could it be? What's happening? How is she, you know what I mean? There's all this
Yeah.
stuff that like you don't know you're gonna care so much about something until you do. Um,
And everything is magnified and everything is
yeah.
magnified by 10. Like you get a cut on, like if you and I get a cut on our leg, we're like, okay, whatever. They get a cut on their leg, it's like, oh my god, it's got to be amputated. Like we're like we're like, oh no, it's like it goes to another level, right, Katie?
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like I worry so much about my kids, but also then there's like the flip side, right? When something good happens, it's like that's amplified by 10 too. You're
Yes.
like, oh, you took one step. You're a hero. You're gonna save the world.
Yeah. So
Like,
so
oh,
yes, that's a great point. And building on that, and I won't go into detail, but we were my wife and I were high-fiving each other because we're potty training. So like not my wife,
oh,
not my wife and I, my daughter, but like yeah,
you
it's
said
like
she's two.
she's two. She's two. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like it's like we were like so happy. It's like, and people that don't have kids right now are like, this man is a lunatic. Like he has no idea what he's saying. So, anyways, let's go to this wonderful acting career you have. The kid from James B. Conant High School did pretty good for herself.
Yeah, yeah. She's working on it. You know,
Jesus, yeah. I mean,
trying.
Katie, family of actors.
Yeah, my brother is a stage actor. So he was an equity actor for a long time. And my sister, she dabbles. She's quite good, but she never decided to go pro with it. And then my mom and dad actually got all of us into acting as like a family. It was first through this company called Gallery Players, which was like a dinner theater
Right.
that we would do when we were little, and then through church. Uh, so yes, we come from a line of like parents just sort of like putting us in it, and we did it together as a family. So I think that's where we all found our like deep love.
Yeah, how awesome is
Um,
that? So talking about that childhood. So like, were you guys always talking acting, talking movies, talking television, talking act? Like, tell me about that part, Katie.
my brother and sister are 8 and 9 years older than me.
Okay.
So, there wasn't a whole lot of talking movies growing up or talking plays growing up. There's more of that stuff now.
Right.
Um, Now that we're older and adults. But no, it was just what we did. It was just what we did. And we always supported each other. My brother came to, and my sister, they both came to every school play, every orchestra concert, every
Nice.
improv show I had. I remember when my brother went away to college, I was like devastated because with them being so much older than me, they were more like second parents.
Mm.
So they meant something to me that like a lot of my friends who have siblings, they didn't have the same relationship because I really consider my brother and sister like authority on things. When I'm having a
Sure.
problem, I call my brother, and here I am, 36, and I'm like, John, I need help with something, and he's like, Katie, you're a grown woman. You can do this. um,
see,
yeah.
see, see, you're 36 and you look 21. I'm 49 and I look 79. So like you and I are going trending in different directions. So
No, you don't look
yeah.
79.
So is it difficult balancing being an actor and being a mom? Is that tough? And I when I was coming up with this question, I'm like, do I ask fathers the same question? And I'm like, I don't think I do. Like, so it's like, maybe it's a biased question, but like, I don't know. If anybody follows your Instagram, which we're going to get to in a second, you are supremely proud of your children, your family, your husband, so forth. So like, is it a tough balance? And we're going to get to the beautiful story of how Yellowstone came into your life, which I think is just a great story. But yeah, tell me about that part of it, Katie. How was that balance of mom and actor?
I think that we're very lucky that we have a very loving home. My husband and I spend every free moment that we have playing with our kids or doing science experiments with them or playing video games or doing make believe. It's just like we just really like being parents. So it is actually quite easy to balance acting with it because my children don't feel like they're lacking parents. You know,
Right,
when we are
right.
home, when I'm home, I am home and I am present with them, which is
Mm,
wonderful. The flip side to that is, I guess it's not the flip side, but they come with me when I have to leave town. So
nice,
when
nice.
I'm working at home, it's just a day job, right? I mean, it's a little bit longer of a day job, but it's typically Monday through Friday. If I'm, guest starring on a show that's been around for a while, they'll be like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They've got it like worked out really well. But when I have to go out of town, yeah, they come. And so
Mm.
then it becomes like a vacation for them.
So I see this happening. I mean,
Yeah.
I see this happening very soon. I mean, your filmography is great, but like, there's no way you're not going to be in like major motion pictures. So when that happens, and you're 3 and 6 months away, will you have? And if I'm getting too personal, please
No,
stop me.
let's put this out in the universe though. I
Yeah,
like
let's put
that.
this out there. So and other actors have done this. They brought their family with them.
Mhm.
They've taken up residence in the community that they're in. So I imagine that would be the same case with you in a major motion, picture situation.
Yeah, yeah. If I ever have to leave town for more than like a week or two, yeah, I think that we would all go and we really like to explore the areas that we visit. We lived in Canada for 8 months,
Wow.
and then we were in Montana. We were in Montana doing Yellowstone during COVID, which was like such a gift at that time
Yeah.
because there was so much outdoor stuff to do and we had been cooped up in the house. And so wherever we are, we really like to experience that place and contribute to that place if we can, go
Yeah.
out and yeah.
And for those listening, and I'm going to bounce back and forth because you just brought this up, but it is a great story. It's not like Yellowstone came calling and you weren't a working actor, but it was the pandemic. There was some things going on,
Mhm.
and in other places you've been quoted as saying, it was like a heavy blanket lifted off of my chest.
Mhm.
So talk about that part of when Yellowstone did call, and the idea that like you are with your family, and I thought I read a quote too where you guys would spend time together and you even saw bears together, which would forget being with my
Yeah,
family. Like I
yeah.
would freak the heck
That
out if I was just by myself, right?
that's happened more than once to us. I don't know. I
Ooh.
don't know what it is. Um, I don't know what it is. They like, yeah, that's happened more than once to us. Usually when we used to go camping up in the Sequoias, because I had a friend who had a cabin there. One of the nice things about, and I would say I'm like a middle class actor, like I'm not super rich, I'm not super famous. I have to, still audition a lot. And but I do have some friends who have nice things and they're lovely and they're helpful. And so they would let us go and stay at their cabin and we would run
Right.
into bears all the time. But in Montana, we were hiking on the Bitterroot, and yeah, we were walking, and I saw two cubs, and I think I screamed bear, and then I screamed run, and my husband was like, stop, do not run, and then of course the mom popped up on her hind legs, and I was like, and
Oh my God.
I was wearing May, who was like 6 months old at the time, and my husband had Lorelai, our older daughter, who was 4, I think then, on his shoulders, and we just stood there and just like slowly backed up. And it all turned out fine. She went back down, and then she and the cubs walked away, but we were very close. I would say 20 feet from them. I don't know how we got that close in the first place. We must have just been chatting or
And
something.
how cool is that your kids are experiencing the family experience, being out in nature, and also mom is working and doing her thing. I don't know. That's a blessing for so many reasons, Katie.
I hope that I am a good role model for my daughters.
Yeah.
I think every parent wants that, obviously, but I do so much to make them happy and to make them feel fulfilled. And even my career, it started off as something for me, but now it's for us. It's for all of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I'm glad that I get to give them these gifts.
Yeah.
You know,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah,
So the
it's
pandemic
special.
hits, we're all miserable, we're all sad, and then Yellowstone comes calling. Katie, talk to me about that part of your life.
Um, well, so I had been in season 1 and 2, and my character was pregnant, and then I wasn't in season 3, so I was a little sad because I thought, stuff was coming, and I was excited, but you never know as an actor where the story's going. And so then the pandemic hits. I have my baby right at the beginning of it, and so I'm like, I don't want to say I'm double sad because everybody in that time was very sad, but I was also going through a lot of postpartum stuff. And when they called, at first I got like an email that was like, YS4, Yellowstone season 4, from my managers. And they were like, "Are you available these days?" And I was like, "Yes, yes. What's going on?
Wow.
Tell me everything." And then my phone rings and my manager is like, "Did Taylor call you?" And I was like, "Taylor Sheridan? No, why?" And she's like, "Well, someone said he was going to call you and ask if they could use your baby." And I was like, "Cool. That's so cool."
Yeah.
So the whole family gets to come and they're all, and I was like, "This is so cool." So it was definitely like, we at the time we lived in a little 2-bedroom in Sherman Oaks. I think we had like 750 square feet for a family of 4 and a dog. It's very expensive in California.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, and we couldn't go anywhere. It was like I would take the dog for a walk and I could hear people coughing in like every direction. We had at that time lost our neighbor, 2 houses down, and our neighbor behind us. And so it was just this like, because California and Los Angeles was like it was the epicenter at that time for COVID, and it was so stressful and so scary. And so when they called and then they were like, "Does your baby want to play your son?" I was like, "Yeah, she does. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to us." Um,
Yeah, so I'm gonna
so,
hit that, but I just because I don't want to take away from this moment. So for
yeah.
those listening or watching who are huge fans of Yellowstone, the wonderful May plays Jamie Jr. in the show, and I
Mhm.
just want to bring this up to you. There's a couple things I want to ask you about before that. I'm gonna tell you maybe my favorite. Like I'm a big fan of like cinematography. One of my favorite things is film stills, movie stills. I love this.
I know. Oh my gosh.
I love this. Wes, people like know
Mhm.
like they know Jamie. I don't think they know how freaking talented Wes is as an actor. You could speak on the person part of it, but
Mhm.
like as an actor, good lord, like good lord.
His range is massive. And the fact that he can play lighthearted characters and he can play these characters that have like Jamie is so incredibly complex. I always get a little defensive of Jamie when I see people um online, talking about like how much of a weasel he is or how he's always manipulated, because I feel like a sense of protection over Jamie, which is funny. I'm like, this character is wicked smart, doing the best he can, folks. Um, but yeah, Wes is wildly talented. And I think there, like that picture, it's helpful that it was my baby, you know.
Yes, but
So
I mean, look at this.
you
It's
know,
so
I
beautiful. It is
know.
such like
Uh,
you cannot tell that that's like a scene from a show. You would be like, that's a father with his son. Like that's
yeah.
what if you're watching the show, you think that's. But before we get to
Mhm,
Yellowstone, I want to ask you a few questions.
mhm,
So your Instagram is a very fun follow. You mentioned postpartum depression. Say whatever you want. I know you're a big from a couple social media posts. You're a big advocate of PTSD and seeking help
mhm.
and so forth. Katie, whatever you wanted to say on that, whatever little it's up to you. I'll just leave it up there for you.
Oh my gosh, that's so wonderful. Hey, like if I look in the camera, is that okay?
Yes,
Does that
absolutely.
feel weird?
No, it does not.
I think so many people, one, don't know that they have PTSD and they just don't know what's wrong with them. They don't know why they react a certain way because PTSD doesn't always come from being in a war zone, or at least not the war zone that we think of, right?
Right.
And I think that just people shouldn't be afraid to seek help. And people should also know they're not alone. And people should also know that there are so many places that they can reach out to. I personally, when people have reached out to me about their struggles, I check in on them.
Mm.
Um, I have some people on Instagram that I don't know. I don't know, but I had put up a post about it, and they had mentioned struggling, and so I find them, like every 6 months, and I check in and I'm like, how are you? There are people who want you to be okay, and um who love you,
Mm.
you know,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
you don't have to struggle with it alone, because it is a very alone thing.
It sure is. It sure is. And people,
Yeah.
great answer, by the way.
Right. It's so long.
Yeah, no, it's a
So
great
good.
answer. Yeah, it's a great answer. You are definitely an outdoorsy person. The two
Mhm.
things I will say from Instagram posts, you're an awesome follow on Instagram for those watching or listening. Are you a big Disney Star Wars person? Because there's a couple of those on there. I got to say, I loved them. As a Star Wars guy, I loved them,
I
Katie.
do. Yeah. Are you watching Mando right now?
Oh, I am so mad, Katie, right now because so many websites made a big spoiler reveal in the last episode. And I'm so
Mhm.
angry at the new Jedi that they just featured
Just
and who was
just
histories.
don't look. Just
Oh,
don't go online until
yeah,
you've seen it.
you're right. You're right, Katie. I'm an idiot for going online, and then I get so angry, like because I don't go look. Like there's people that watch shows and go like exploring, like, oh no, that is not
Mm-mm,
me.
mm-mm.
But how are you? But let me ask you this before we talk about Mando. How much did you love Andor?
Okay, so Andor, I only got 2 episodes in, and then I got pulled away. Oh, I got sick. I got really sick, but it wasn't like the kind of sick where I could sit down and watch. I think I caught COVID, and
Okay.
it was my one and only time having it. I haven't finished Andor,
Mm.
and I am very excited. Actually, it came up yesterday after Mando was done. After we were watching it last night, and I was like, yes, Andor, because I also just finished Shadow and Bone, which I did binge. I love Shadow and Bone. I love the books.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I was really happy. Yeah. Anyway, but I digress. The first couple episodes are incredible. I just watched them the other day, so I am looking forward to finishing it.
Good because it is
Mhm.
it is the best piece of Star Wars I've seen in a lot of years. It is
Shut
very
the
good.
front door.
Yeah, it is very good, Katie. It is.
Ah,
It doesn't take like so the Mandalorian we love because we see characters we haven't seen in a while. It's a little hokey, but we love it. Like we love
I
that.
like hokey because that's
I
what
love
it
hokey.
is to be a sci-fi
Yes.
fantasy fan,
So Andor is like very gritty, very like the Star Wars like Saving Private Ryan, very kind of people do die, people do suffer, people do
Yeah.
like so it's like a different take, but it's like it's just really amazing. You'll see the music is amazing. The other thing I wanted to say was I love how you had to by the fact you were also boxing 21 weeks pregnant. What a great post that was. But the one I really liked was the NCIS. This is how good of an actor you are. People actually thought you were like really sick on the. It was like
On the show.
yeah, like how I guess that's a good thing because it's like hey, look what I can sell. But it's like friends are calling you and saying like Katie, are you okay? Like
Yeah, they were checking in on me to see if I was sick. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny because I remember finishing filming one of the days, and I must have been holding myself in a way that I had like terrible stomach ache when I was done. And I looked at my husband and I was like, I think I'm giving myself symptoms of someone going through this. Um, yeah, that's one of my favorites that I've ever done.
yeah,
NCIS.
yeah.
That group of people, I think there's a reason a show like that is on for as long as it is. And it's just because it's a good group. The producers are wonderful. That show was a gift. for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
For me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Katie, let me ask you this. So one of the things that you talked about with the COVID and getting the Yellowstone opportunity was it was like a weighted blanket being lifted off your chest. Do you feel like that's just life as an actor in general? I mean, not as I mean, obviously, pandemic aside, all that stuff aside, isn't it like if you're going? I mean, because you're a working actor, which is very, very, very hard to do. But like, I mean, I feel like that if I was looking from the outside, I mean, I'm not going to speak for you, but if I was an actor, that's how I would feel. Like, great, I had this opportunity. Oh, I missed out on the next two. I don't know. I feel like it'd be a lot of pressure to nail those things.
When you get to a certain place and you have, like, I have a team, right? And I know lots of producers, I know people at networks. And so when you get to a certain place, you start finding out like why you didn't get the part.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it'll just be like, you read too young. They want someone in their early 40s, and I don't play that part yet. Or a lot of times it's there was a job I was pinned for. I was told like, oh yeah, everybody approved you. It's going to be great. And then it ended up going to a lovely actress. She was very, very good, but she knew people in the production, and I was like, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
She did a great job. And it's just, I think when you get to this level, you sort of stop being sad about the ones you didn't get, because that'll destroy you if you're sad about all the ones you don't get. I mean, there's so many jobs you don't get.
Yeah, and like I said, you're a working actor,
So,
and if
yeah,
anybody's seen Yellowstone, they've seen what
yeah.
you're capable of. So, I mean, or NCIS, or one of the million things you've done. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Let's jump into Yellowstone. Let me ask you this. So, I feel like Christina's one of those people that is like you're happy she's with you, but you never want her against you.
Yeah, she's very smart, um, which I love. I love playing characters like that. But yeah, I don't think that we've seen the depths to which she can go,
Mm,
um, uh, which I think is fun. It's fun to play that.
yeah,
She's deeply connected politically. She knows everyone. But it's stuff we've heard them mention here and there, but we've never like seen. So I think you're absolutely right about that. She is someone you don't want on your bad side.
yeah. So, last picture I'll
Mhm.
put up. This is how popular Yellowstone is. Like, this is how popular for those watching or listening. They care about stuff that like your character wears, other characters wear, and they put it up for sale. Like they have your jacket, the Katie Cunningham Yellowstone Christina coat. This is not a Yellowstone affiliated product, let me tell you, but like,
No,
my God, like if they're
you
doing
guys,
that,
that's just a black blazer.
but it's a popular. Apparently, if they're asking 130 for it, like they must be getting money for it. Like,
Oh, that's
um,
funny.
yeah. So I don't want to harp too much on this, but we talked about May and how she played Jamie Jr. But how special is it that not only are you an iconic show doing an amazing job, but you're experiencing it with your daughter? I will go 400 more interviews, and I may never ask this question again.
Wait, did you say how iconic
No,
is it?
the idea that like
Oh,
you are on an iconic show,
oh,
you are doing this
yes.
great job, and you're experiencing it with your daughter. Like, who could say that they were in your position on any other show, living their like I mean, obviously we know you're a kick-ass actor, you do your thing, but like here's your daughter along for the ride. Like that's
I know.
very, very special, Katie.
I will probably never have that again.
Yeah.
That time. And there's so much more about it that was special. Like, sorry, I'm an emotional person. So,
That's okay.
um,
Hey, I love it. I
but,
love it.
um, it's the things that like I was still breastfeeding her. And so when I went to work, I still got to do that. And that's so hard. That's so
Yeah.
hard. And I have all these friends, who are moms who struggle with things like that. And it's like, I didn't have to say goodbye to her. I got to bring her with me. Um, I, I will cherish it forever.
Yeah, it's
I,
awesome. Like,
I
and
will.
there's a great
Um,
picture on Instagram. Speaking of what you're saying, there's a great picture on Instagram where you're just like, my daughter is like, it's on Facebook too, where like you're talking about my daughter's in this, like you were so just
So excited for her.
joyous mom. That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so great.
The other
Uh,
fun part. Oh, I was gonna say my husband got to be on set with me too because there needed to be someone else to take the baby. Um, so that was like double fun as well. So it was me and my husband in May, and then my older daughter Lorelai got to hang out at base camp
very cool.
because it was, she was there with the AD hanging out while I was shooting. And so it was like truly like I went to work that day and like not that day, that episode, two
Yeah,
episodes
yeah,
where like we got to be together.
yeah.
It's very cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Katie, say whatever you want about Wes. You've already talked about, but Will Patton as well because you spent a lot of time with them in season 4.
Will Patton. I love Will Patton. Oh, Will Patton's like the kind of guy who, when you meet him, he just like talks to you. He just makes you feel like you're his equal, and he makes you feel like what you say is valid, and that that doesn't always happen with people. And he's funny, and he was like telling me stories of movies he's worked on, and I was sitting there freaking out as soon as I saw that I was working with Will Patton because I was
Yeah.
like, "You my childhood, you are my
Yeah.
childhood." You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
"Remember the Titans? We watched that over and over in college."
So good in The Postman. He's so good in so many
Oh,
things.
he's
Yeah.
so good in so many things.
Yeah.
But he's yeah, he's a really good guy.
Does Christina have a last name? I couldn't find it.
No, no, she doesn't.
Yeah, because I was thinking to
Mm-mm.
myself because I'm like, I was trying to think, does she have a last name? And she is ruthless. She does what she has to do. But I don't know. I feel like it's not hard to seduce Jamie. Like when it comes to Jamie and Beth, I've said this to other Yellowstone guests. I think Mo brings plenty, a couple others. I don't know when it comes to being on a side of Beth and Jamie. I don't think there's a right side, but I got to tell you, I'm just not with Beth. Like I just feel like she's so hardcore and so. I get what Jamie did. I get it. There's no like right and wrong person here, but it was so over the top. Like I'm like, what's Jamie supposed to do at this point? Like it's like so abusive, so terrible. I don't know. I mean, listen, it's like comparing, I don't know, any fictional show, but if I had to side with somebody, I'm with Jamie.
I mean, I'm Team Jamie too.
Yeah.
And as a viewer, I'm Team Jamie. And I think I worry so much about Beth.
Yeah.
I want her to start making good choices for herself. Everybody in the show is always talking about how selfish Jamie is. Um, and I think Beth could benefit from a little selfishness and a little self-care.
I agree.
Uh,
She's too busy. She's very busy tearing apart just about. She is a hurricane of destruction. Like it's like
yeah.
to me, it gets to a point. And a marvelous actor, but it gets to the point where, as a just a storytelling point of view, it's like okay, we get it. Like you're angry and you're furious, and it's like okay, but I don't know. I can't believe more people don't side with Jamie. Not that they don't find fault with Jamie, but like I don't know. In a lot of in some ways, he's a victim in some of this. He really is. Like it's just I don't know. That's how I think.
I the very first day I met Kelly, I think it was, if I recall, I think it was my first day on set on Yellowstone at all. And we were doing a scene where we're coming into the governor's office and I'm being introduced to Jamie and they're sitting on the couch, if I recall. But I met Kelly in the hair and makeup trailer, and she apologized to me for what she was about to do to me. And I was like, what? I mean, I had read the script, but there was nothing particularly in the script that was so shocking. I mean, I think she said maybe a mean word or something. I can't remember. But then when I got there in the room and just how rude she was when she became Beth, I was like, oh, that's what you're talking about. Good job, Kelly, and thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
See,
um,
even before she got to that, I would have been thrown off by the English accent. You're just not expecting it. Like you're just
okay,
like,
well, I was a huge Kelly Riley fan. I mean, come on,
yeah,
like you haven't. She was in this show called Black Box that
yes,
she was phenomenal in, and that was like one of those seasons that like ABC sort of did this slate of like shows that dealt with mental health. Because I was on another show when her show ended. I was on the next ABC show that like took the slot. So I loved watching that. She was so good, and Sherlock Holmes and
Yeah. But for a lot of people, this is their first time meeting her. Like, so like they may not be familiar with her film. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah,
it's just, I don't know. It's strange how that works. It's, and I joked with you early on. It's not hard to seduce Jamie, both you and Sarah kind of, the characters to have their way with him. But I don't know. I almost feel like it's Jamie's, just longing to be liked, just longing to be, appreciated. I think your character though is a little, I think I don't want to say she's done this before, but she's very calculated. She is very
yes,
bright. Yes,
she is. Yeah, I think Jamie really wants someone to love him and to take care of him, but
yep,
the someone that he wants to love him is his dad. Like, let's
yes,
be honest. I think I've always approached Christina as sort of like the voice of reason, but like in a stern way. I've always approached her as very protective of Jamie, especially once we got into it in season 1, when I started to notice there were like other people, Christina, when she started to notice that, like, what was it, Sarah was there, and I was like, who are you? Back off. And I think that played very very stern. She's really stern. And in her beliefs, I feel like she's also pretty black and white. I think there's a right and a wrong, in her mind.
yeah, yeah.
So when Jamie doesn't make the right choice, she's like, okay, goodbye. You're not good enough for this. But because if you really look at it, like the worst thing she's done is ignore a phone call. Really.
Yeah, you're right. But like, she also knows that Jamie maybe killed a journalist.
Yeah.
So she's done that, and she's willing to look the other way to be with him when she probably doesn't have to and shouldn't. Like she is.
No. Yeah, she is driven. She has money. She will always be the kind of person that will be okay on her own, I think.
Yeah.
But she does have a baby with him. And I don't think she was planning that. And at least I don't know what the writers or what Taylor may come up with or has in his head. But in my head, I think that was something that she would have happily run far away from Jamie when she saw that Sarah died. And but then she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So.
I agree. And one of the things I don't get is that that there's like a departure, right? There's like we kind of lose Christina. Like she just is like her last episode, and you had a wonderful, beautiful Instagram post saying goodbye. And I don't know if it was a goodbye, but it was a grateful like thank you for all of this wonderful. Yeah.
I always do that though. And you know what? Maybe that post wasn't necessarily like I have no contract with Yellowstone. I'm a guest star, so they write me in if they want to use me, and if they're not going to, if they call, I'm going to be like, yay, I can't wait. That post was more of just a very grateful post for getting a chance to come back. It was just exciting to be back.
Because Katie, I'm telling you, there's an opportunity here with his current girlfriend, Sarah Atwood, Jamie. There's a triangle here that would make for one hell of a television episode or 2 or 3 or 4. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't dismiss Christine. I don't know. She's too powerful of a character from this viewer's eyes.
I'd like to think that I'll be back. It would be very exciting. And I think that there is a lot that, they could do with that, especially with how connected Christina is. And she's not just connected in Montana. She worked for the Obama campaign, and Sarah Atwood is from the East Coast. I think that there's a lot of cool opportunity there. But again, I've not seen any scripts and I've not gotten any calls. So
I've got a few Yellowstone fans that watch this. So let's hope.
I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody to watch this interview and be like, Katherine Cunningham said this.
No, I want them to watch this. I want them to watch this to say Katherine Cunningham should be back. Like that's what I want them to do. Like I want them to. That's what I want them to do.
Super fun. I would love it.
Yeah, there's theories out there that they believe that Jamie is a biological father of John Dutton. And I read it. I was having trouble following it, but like there's a there's a theory out there that says they might be biological. Don't ask me how it works because I can't tell you. But uh, yeah, does let me ask you this, and I think I know the answer, but I want to make sure. Does Christina know about Jamie killing his dad, Randall? I don't think she does, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, no, I don't believe so. But I have no idea.
Do you think she knows? And by the way, thank you for all this time. I have a few more questions. Thank you for all of
Yeah,
this. I'm very
yeah,
appreciative of it.
this is
Do you
fun.
do you think she's aware of how dangerous Jamie can be? Like we talked about how like some of the downside. You don't think she's aware of that, huh?
I don't think she is. I think that she's been able to manipulate him quite easily. I don't think she sees it that way. I think that she, she's like, well, there's a right and wrong, and this is the right way to do things. You're going to do it that way, correct?
Yeah.
And uh, I don't think she knows he's capable of what he's done. But that's kind of the beauty in Wes's acting, right? It's
Yeah.
that all of a sudden he does this thing out of like deep necessity. He's not ruthless. Everything he does is out of a strong need to do that. No, I don't think Christina knows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think she likes the Duttons at all. I think she hates
Mm-mm.
the Duttons. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. She's one of those people that views the Duttons like many people do as like not a big
Hmm.
fan. Not a big fan. How fun is it for you, Katie, to play a character like this?
Okay, so like I don't know if you can tell, but she's nothing like me.
No, she is not. No, she is
So
not.
it's perfect. I feel like I'm such a goofy little sci-fi hummingbird of a human being. Like, yes, I love Disney with like a fiery passion. Like Star Wars is my favorite. I have like, I still live by like Harry Potter. Like I love sci-fi fantasy so much. So to be able to play someone so still and so calculated, and so specific is exhilarating. I often would leave work almost feeling like high
Yeah, yeah,
because it's just a different ride that I don't get to take very often.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. That's just so wonderful. Don't ask me. This is such a random thing to say, and this will be the last thing I say. Is you talk about Disney and your love of sci-fi. How great is it that scene in Harry Potter where he says, "Don't tell me you loved her the whole time," and he's like, "Always." Like,
always.
I'm not going to get this out of my mouth without crying. Like, it's just so awesome.
Mm,
Yeah, I love that you're a sci.
um,
And how many people know that you're a sci-fi geek? How great is that? Like you and I are
I
both
don't know.
sci-fi nerds and geeks. That's so awesome.
I mention it, like sometimes on Instagram I'll put up a post. If I could post only pictures of me at Disneyland in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, I would. It's like my favorite place in the world. But
Great pick of you and a
yeah.
stormtrooper. I think I said that earlier. Great pick of you and a stormtrooper. Your last one.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
cried. I cried through that whole like as soon as they started to blow the music to Star Wars, I just started bawling. They did Star Wars, they did Harry Potter, they did Indiana Jones. It was for people listening, I went to a night of John Williams music.
Oh, nice.
So that's where I got the picture with the stormtrooper that night. That was actually 2 weekends ago. Um, and I told my husband, I was like, just so you know, I'm gonna cry through this. And he was like, okay. I cried the whole time.
He tried calling your bluff. You proved him wrong. So
Here it comes.
Katie, we're going to that. I live in Massachusetts. There's one in the Berkshires we just bought tickets to. Is that the actual John Williams that you went to? Because the one we would. Okay.
Well, no, mine was the Illinois Symphony Orchestra. I live outside of Chicago, so I don't live in Los Angeles
Oh, I got you.
anymore.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Very cool.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's gonna be fun. I am so happy for you that you get to go
Oh,
and
yeah.
listen to it.
Like I'm sure your husband's a movie buff too, but like when they start playing like the songs one after another, it's like my God, this man is a legend of like cinema. Like even in your childhood, my childhood, whatever movie we want to say we love, John Williams is probably behind it every
I
step of the way.
remember I remember as a little kid listening to the Hook soundtrack on repeat.
Oh, a
In
great
my room.
soundtrack.
I know. Yeah, he's maybe the greatest living composer of like our greatest living composer.
Yeah, hard to argue. Hard to
Yeah,
argue. Yeah, hard to argue.
for
Uh,
me, I think so.
what Star Wars character does it for you? I promise. Last one. What Star Wars character does it for you?
Oh,
Unfair question, probably, but
oh, Ahsoka,
mm,
Ahsoka Tano.
mm.
No, Mm-mm. Man,
I love the thought that you're putting into this. Can I just say that? I love the
you,
fact that you're really thinking about this. Like most
I
people just throw out
should,
a random name. You're like thinking about this.
I should know right off the bat, but I as like I don't know if it's as an artist or just the type of person I am, I get like deeply invested in everything I watch, you know? I like deeply love everything or deeply hate things. Which I think is just maybe that's also just part of being a sci-fi fantasy person, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's no one better than sci-fi fantasy fans because they both like simultaneously are just the most passionate, but also sometimes the meanest, because they're
They
so
are.
honest
Yeah.
with their feelings. Um,
Can I tell you what I hate, Katie?
and
I hate that when actors are like so like the movie Passengers was Jennifer it was Chris Pratt and Jennifer. Why am I forgetting this?
um,
She was in the De
she's
Niro.
in Hunger Games
Oh
and
my God. Oh. But
I should
anyways,
I should really know this.
yes, and I left my cell phone upstairs, so I
I
can't
know
look it up or pretend I know it.
I'm
Yeah.
Googling it.
Uh, I cannot believe I'm forgetting this. I cannot
I
believe it.
You know what? And I feel like I probably would have known it just fine if you didn't forget it. Jennifer Lawrence.
So yes, Jennifer Lawrence. So like I love this movie, but like she's like apologizing for it after. I'm like, so I feel like if she apologizes, it should I not like I loved that movie. Like it hit home. It's a sci-fi. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. I loved it. So and it's like when she's apologizing for, it, I'm like, well, why are you doing this?
Well,
Like
why? We
so
love it.
yes, should I step back and not like it anymore? Like
Yeah.
I don't know, Katie. I have too much time on my hands. I need to think.
No, but that's actually very, very valid. And I think if we as artists do jobs that maybe, we don't connect with as much. I mean, I have no idea what her scenario is, but yeah, someone is going to love that movie.
That's a
Even
great
even
point. That's a great point. Yes.
even if, and that's like, isn't that why we do this? You know,
Yes.
I I I do this, yes, for me, yes, to make money, yes, because I love it, but like I also do it for everybody else.
Yes.
I do it
Thank
for
you.
all of the fans. I do it for all of the people that are like me watching, you know.
Yeah. 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 Like
Somebody's gotta love it.
and the Shazam 2 director was like, oh, I'll never do, a superhero movie again. Like you couldn't have said this in your book 10 years from now. Like you couldn't just let the movie settle. Like I saw Shazam 2. I loved it. It's a great family film. It's so good. It's so good. And he's
It
out
just
there
came out,
saying,
right?
yeah, yes. And he's out there
Yeah,
saying, no,
yeah.
I'm all
I
set.
didn't
I'm all done. Like you didn't, the timing is not great, but I don't know. Katie, talk about your social media handles, anything you wanted to get out there, future projects, anything you want.
Oh, I mean, I hadn't thought about that stuff. No, actually, there's not that much I can talk about.
Yeah.
But if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Katherine Cunningham, and I really like posting pictures of like hikes I've been on and things I've done with my family and stuff I'm interested in. I don't post as much about work as I probably should. I think that's what people are interested in. But I love everybody, and I would love it if you follow me, and I will talk to you.
You are great about replying to people. I did notice that. Like you are but you're the kind of person that fans cheer for. Like you're an actor that legitimately loves her fans, and that's a big thing, Katie. That's a big
I
thing.
do, because that's the point of all of this, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you don't do movies and TV to not connect with human beings who are watching it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I love my fans, and I'm grateful for them. I would have no career if people didn't watch me.
Yes, yes, I get it. Listen, I'm
Um,
a Christina fan. I'm a Katie fan. And Katie, I hope you come back one day. I would love to have you back on.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, thank you so much,
Yeah.
and best health and happiness to your wonderful family. Thank you so much, Katie.
Yeah, and I hope that everything works out with the weird thing on your toddler's foot.
Yes, thank you for remembering that. Very
You're welcome.
kind of you. Thank you, Katie.